I've figured out how to pass an exam even when you haven't studied until the day before. I know, you're cooked because you left everything for the last minute and now you're here, watching a YouTube video hoping it'll save your butt. And to make things worse, your anxiety and guilt keep spiking as the exam approaches and you're lost, clueless about what to do to avoid failing. Yeah, makes you feel like an idiot. The good news is, it's not too late yet. In this video, I'll show you exactly how to score high by prepping last minute, using ridiculously simple techniques even a lazy bones like you can handle. So let's get started. 8. Fuel your brain. Right, listen up, genius. You are what you eat, and right now you're fueling your brain with garbage. And to study last minute, you need your brain functioning at full power. Otherwise, no tip in the world is gonna help. So, first, if you don't drink green tea, you're doing it all wrong. It's got caffeine and L-theanine to keep your brain wired, but without making you a shaky mess. And if you're one of those weirdos who hates tea, fine, grab some omega-3 capsules. Yes, idiot, I said capsules. They give you the same brain-boosting effects of fatty fish without the need for cooking. And seriously, ditch the junk food. Grab walnuts or almonds packed with vitamin E to protect those brain cells you're about to fry from cramming. Oh, and dark chocolate? Yeah, that's your cheat food, but it actually boosts blood flow to the brain, helping you concentrate. So stop being an idiot and fuel your brain right. 7. Prioritize topics. Let's get real, you've got no time to waste. That's why you need to be smart and prioritize your study topics with this matrix. First, list out all the topics, then sort them into 4 categories: strengths or weaknesses, and whether they're tested heavily or lightly. To figure out what's going to be on the exam, check if your teacher handed out any guides, syllabi, or lists. These usually tell you what's important. If you don't have that, look for summaries or key points at the end of textbook chapters. Those are pure gold. And don't forget old exams or sample tests. They show you what pops up often. Use all that to spot what's tested the most, then prioritize based on that. Don't be an idiot. Start with your heavily tested weaknesses. These are the ones that'll smack you hardest in the exam, so tackle them first. Once you've handled those, move on to lightly tested weaknesses. They're not as likely to appear, but you don't want them tripping you up. After that, if you somehow still have time, give a quick look over your heavily and lightly tested strengths just to wrap things up. 6. Use all your senses. Watching YouTube videos on your subject is great, but it's not enough to just sit there. This isn't a chill movie night. You're trying to save your grades here, you idiot. So turn on those transcripts using this Chrome extension, speed up the playback because you don't have all day, and take notes while you're at it. When you engage your eyes, ears, and hands, you're making sure that information sticks harder. The whole point here is to trick your brain into remembering more in less time. You're not just watching a video, you're seeing, hearing, and writing all at once. This multisensory overload helps your brain build stronger connections, which means you'll retain more. So next time you pull up a study video, take notes like your life depends on it. 5. Recite your notes out loud. Yeah, grab those notes and start reciting them out loud like a crazy person. Why? Because when you hear your own voice, your brain processes the material differently, creating stronger mental links. You won't be able to skim your way through, but actually remember it. And if you're lucky enough to have a roommate suffering from insomnia, congratulations, you've got yourself a study buddy. Make them sit there and listen while you spout off about the concepts you've crammed into your brain. Explaining things out loud, especially to another person, forces you to really understand what you're saying. If you can teach it, you've mastered it. 4. Do quizzes and flashcards. Here's the thing, passive studying is for amateurs. Reading your notes over and over is a waste of time, you idiot. Quizzes and flashcards force your brain to actually work by engaging in active recall. It's like giving your memory a workout. Studies even show that active recall can boost memory retention by up to 50%. Now, if you're thinking, I don't have time to make flashcards, stop whining and use Quiz Plus. Grab some premium flashcard decks made by the pros, or let AI cook up custom cards from your own notes. Then, crank up the pressure with timed quizzes, set a ridiculous deadline, race the clock, and let that panic drill the info into your brain. Skip this and you're pretty much asking to fail again. 3. Spaced repetition. Listen up, airhead. Spaced repetition isn't just some nerdy trick. It's your only shot at getting your brain to actually remember anything instead of dumping it the second you close the book. Here's the deal. Once you understand a topic, go back to it at intervals. Start right after you learn it, then stretch out the time between reviews. Hit those intervals during the day, early morning, midday, and right before bed. You can use the quizzes and flashcards on Quiz Pluses to drill yourself over and over again. And if you're cramming, you need spaced repetition. Even if you can only fit it in for one day, research even shows that your brain has this cool habit of remembering stuff better when it's reminded of it at just the right time. It's like telling your brain, remember this or else. So don't be an idiot who just skims the notes hoping for a miracle. 2. Study right before bed. This is one of the smartest things you can do. If you're cramming, your brain doesn't shut down when you sleep. It actually kicks into overdrive, processing all the stuff you just shoved in there. So instead of wasting your last bit of energy scrolling through your phone like an idiot, use that time to review your notes. A study published in Nature Neuroscience found that people who studied right before bed remembered stuff way better than those who studied earlier. Why? Because your brain is out there working overtime during slow-wave sleep, strengthening all those connections from what you learned before hitting the pillow. Basically, sleep is like the save button for your brain, especially if you study right before crashing. Now, don't just skim through your notes like a half-asleep zombie. Type out your key points, formulas, or definitions, anything that matters, because the act of writing or typing them makes your brain actively engage with the material. You're giving your brain a head start on locking that info in while you sleep, turning it into rock-solid memory. When you wake up, that knowledge should feel like it's glued to your brain. Then quick review in the morning and bam, you're set for the test. Treat this as your golden moment to let your subconscious do the heavy lifting. So don't screw it up like an idiot and smash that subscribe button unless you're cool with staying average. 1. Do a memory dump. When your exam starts, don't just dive into the questions like a maniac. Take the first 5 minutes to dump all the crammed knowledge onto the back page of your exam. I'm talking about every formula, key term, and process you've drilled into your brain. Why? Because when you're deep into those stressful essay questions, your mind's going to blank out. But you've got everything important right there on the back page, ready to save you. This trick is like your cheat code. No more scrambling like an idiot, trying to remember what you crammed last night. With everything written down, your brain can actually focus on the questions instead of wasting energy trying to recall stuff. Those first 5 minutes can be the difference between acing it or crashing, so don't skip this step, you idiot. It'll save your butt. If you liked the video, share it with that friend who's just as desperate for these tips as you are. And leave a comment if you've got any secret hacks for cramming the day before an exam. Doubt you do, but hey, you never know. And I hope to see you in the next video. If you don't show up, well, you're dumber than I thought.